Hello, twisted humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. Hello and welcome to episode 200, part 2. Oh my gosh, I forgot to look at my own episodes. Isn't that what we're doing instead of fun facts?
Yeah.
Or no, we do that at the end.
No, at the end. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're like, I just spent X amount of time living in another timeline.
Oh my goodness.
Tell the people what happened first.
A fun episode. Okay. So maybe one of you are right here with me. Okay. I watched the Karen Read trial live with a streamer named Emily D. Baker. And at one point she was talking, she likes to talk about words that people use that are crazy. But at one point she said a word or somebody said a word that I had never heard before. And that word was extreporous. And I was like, what does that mean? And I was with Sissy, and Sissy had my phone. I said, Sissy, Google extreporous. She Googled it, and then she read me what it meant. And what it meant was something like, when it was an adjective for being over the top and something. And I was like, oh, so like extra, when people call you extra. So I guess this is what's happening in my brain. I guess people started saying extra as the slang because it was formed after the word extreporous. And I was like excited, like for once slang isn't, some random bullshit. Like it actually comes from a bigger word. And now I know this big word. I'm so glad I know, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I went to Google extreporous so I could read you the exact definition, and it's not a word. Everything that happened that day apparently was on a different timeline, because Sissy remembers it, but we can't find it anymore. and I don't know what happened. I'm pretty sad about it.
I believe you. In this timeline, I believe you that exists. Yeah. Maybe in this timeline, you can be the inventor of it. Who knows?
Well, no one wants to make a longer word for a slang word. I just thought it was cool that like the slang word was just a shortened version of a long word.
I know. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, that's how life is. That's the fact. I accept it. I'm sure other listeners do too. And if you think that that's a word that let us know.
If you heard Emily D. Baker say the word extreporous the other day, all right, please let me know that I'm not alone, okay? Anyway, we're going to get into this case and all of the extreporous information.
That is Charles Manson.
That is Charles Manson. After we talk about some fun facts, do you have a fun fact?
I do. My fun fact is 80s related because that is the decade that we are working in. Mm-hmm. And it is that Sony named the Walkman after the Pressman audio recorder featured popularity in the movie Superman in the 1980s. They originally called Walkmans a soundabout in the United States and a stowaway in the United Kingdom before landing on the Walkman.
That is way better than what was the first one?
A soundabout?
Oh my god. That's awful.
Can you imagine if that had been what it was called? I don't think it would have been nearly as popular.
No, a soundabout?
The luxury of bringing music around with you or not. Fuck that.
That's crazy. My fun fact? My fun fact is about cicadas, because it is cicada season. Not here. We don't get cicadas this far south, but I know that the Ohioans are dreading right now because the cicadas are fiercely about. So the Pokemon Paras and Parasect. Do you know what these Pokemon look like? It looks like, I don't know, like a crab with a mushroom shell.
Yeah.
Okay, so
pretty good description.
Yeah. These Pokemon are actually most likely modeled after cicadas that have Massospora, which is a fungus that causes their butts to fall off and a mushroom to grow out of that spot. Um, in developing this fungus, the cicada is experiencing the same feel-good effects that someone would experience if they took magic mushrooms. It also makes the cicada horny and makes it want to mate, but their butts fell off. So they're actually just rubbing fungus onto other cicadas. It's like that's how the fungus spreads. It's like, I'm gonna
I
make you
feel like
want
you're
to
not
rub your
allowed
butt
to
on me.
bring fun facts to the show anymore. Between last week and this week, you're cut off now.
Isn't
You're
that
cut
fun?
off.
I mean, in the weirdest way.
I think cicadas are real gross. I've not experienced them being in Western Canada, but I did see a dead one when I went to visit Sierra in Nashville. She put it directly in my hand like a monster. Uh,
Cicadas
she's
are
like
so normal
getting
to me
gas. She's like,
being from
here.
Ohio.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
And the fact that that's just a season that some people have to live with, I like I said about prison last week, guys, I am just not strong enough for that life, okay? Where where that's a reality. I just need to be honest. I don't do bugs. I feel really bad. There was a baby wolf spider in the showroom today, and it was on the wall that I have to walk by to get to the door to go upstairs to the office. So I walked by it unknowingly this morning, opened the whole showroom, and then when I was walking back I'm like, "Oh, well, I can't pass now." That's awkward. So I told one of the shop guys, and I was like, "How are you with spiders? Like, are you willing to assist?" So one of them came and he killed it. I felt so bad, and I was like, I would have taken it outside if it was smaller than it was.
Goodness gracious.
If I can hear it moving, I'm out.
Yeah, that seems like it would be really big if you can hear it. If it's
Yeah.
making sounds,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. I feel bad. Anyways, that whole rant was about how I don't like bugs. Um, shocker. I'm also not a huge fan of Charles Manson, but I am a huge fan of this drink.
It's such a good one. So obviously we are sticking with our Moscow Mule. However, I found one this time that was a little different. It is from, sorry, I'm trying to find out. I want to give credit. Thirsty Tales is where this one's from, and it's called Dead Man's Mule. And it has ginger beer and lime juice as usual, but you also add cranberry juice and mint leaves.
I really like it because I already add mint leaves to my
Right.
mulejito, so I think it's very tasty. And I already like the combination of ginger and cranberry from years of us making sangrias that way, so I'm here for it.
Yeah, apparently it's so good that I was a couple minutes late to recording because I had to make one for me, and then my brother, and then my daughter, and then Jesse. So everybody was like, "Oh, I want one. Will you make me one?" Jesus, people. Okay, okay.
And
But they're delicious.
I just finished mine, so we have that. But I do, as a backup, have a peach vodka iced tea. So
Oh,
there we go.
nice.
I've brought that to the table. Mine is exactly the same as Sierra's, except I added the booze to mine because it has been a fucking week.
Yeah.
That is that. Also, I love that your recipes have come from Dead Man's what that you just said?
Dead Man's Mule is what this one was
Dead
called.
Man's Mules and Pirate's Booty in the last
Yeah.
few episodes.
Yeah.
Sierra's on like some pirate chain of the internet.
I am thinking of decorating our guest bathroom in like Kraken type stuff.
Yes.
So
Like
that's where my
nautical
brain's been.
meets spooky.
Yes. Yes.
Let me know if you can find a Kraken shower curtain, and it has to be like dark and purple.
I will look.
Keep us posted. The news that we are dying for.
Yes.
We're not doing a promo.
Okay.
We're just gonna take a quick break.
All right, we are going to take a quick break and we will get back into Charles Manson.
Boo.
Do 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 do.
I left
Okay.
that in last week because I thought it was funny. I went bum 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 and you went bum bum bum. It was funny. All right. Don't forget to add a break in the midst. In the midst of it
In the
all.
midst of recording.
Hopefully you
Sorry.
didn't have to edit too much of my run-on sentences.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
I type the way that I think and then I read the way that I think, so it's fine. But for other people, it's terrible. I worry about this when I write emails sometimes. I'm like, what must people be thinking?
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely, when I read yours, I can read it in your voice, but I'm always like, this
So that
isn't
it makes
my
sense.
voice. Like, I need to change it to my voice. So,
I'm
anyway,
sorry, girl.
okay. No, it's okay. All right. When we left off in part one, Charles Manson and some of his followers had just gone to the home of Gary Hinman and killed him because they believed that he had come into some money that he refused to hand over. This was the summer of '69. Sadly, as we all know, this was just the beginning of their murder spree. Terry Melcher, the record producer that Alicia mentioned in part one, the son of Doris Day that refused to sign Charles Manson music, had previously rented a home at 10050 CeeLo Drive. As a hit on Terry, Charles ordered his followers to go there and kill everyone inside, no matter who. On August 8th, 1969, that is exactly what they did. Except Terry did not live there anymore. The home was now lived in by movie producer Roman Polanski and his wife, actress Sharon Tate. Sharon was 8 months pregnant and was spending time with a few friends at home on that August night. In attendance was writer Wojciech Frykowski, coffee heiress Abigail Folger, love the buttery caramel, by the way, and celebrity hairstylist and Sharon's close friend, Jay Sebring. A friend of the grounds caretaker named Stephen Parent was also at the house visiting. Let's talk about them for a moment. Wojciech Frykowski was from Poland and was trying to make it as a writer in Hollywood. When he was young, he was labeled as being a troublemaker. That wasn't exactly true, but he did get into a fistfight at a school dance where he met his lifelong friend, Roman Polanski. Quote, beneath his tough exterior, Wojciech was good-natured, soft-hearted to the point of sentimentality, and utterly loyal, end quote. Roman would later say about his friend. Over time, Roman and Wojciech would join forces in film together. In 1962, when Roman was making a short film called Mammals, Wojciech took the role as his film's financier.
Which is just like a glorified title for like movie babysitter, but separate problem. I think they just wanted to hang out as friends.
Yeah. He allegedly lived off of the inheritance from his father's illicit currency exchange business and enjoyed a rich way of life despite having very little income coming in as a Hollywood writer. He enjoyed partying and being around American girls, and he went on to date Abigail Folger. Abigail Folger was the daughter of Folger's Coffee president, Peter Folger. Maybe you've heard of it. She had worked as a social worker, she loved to read, and she was a little more reserved and shy. The couple met through a mutual friend and hit it off immediately. They eventually moved to LA together in an effort to advance Wojciech's career, but it proved to be difficult for the two, and they soon fell into regular drug use at parties and get-togethers. The couple agreed to house sit at the CeeLo Drive home while Sharon and Roman went to London for Roman's work. But as Sharon was getting farther and farther along in her pregnancy, it was no longer safe for her to fly, so she stayed home. Wojciech and Abigail agreed to stay anyway because Sharon was so close to her due date. This way they could help and she could rest. The group planned to get dinner together at the El Coyote restaurant, where Jay Sebring joined as well. A little refresher from episode 155. Jay Sebring was born Thomas John Coomer in 1933. That said 1993 at first, by the way. And I was like, that's not right.
Yeah, no, that's the year we were born.
That's my year, actually.
You want to know something funny? That is from your episode 155 notes.
Oh my gosh, I wrote 1993.
Yeah.
Damn.
And I didn't even catch it because it looked right to me. I'm like, yeah, that's the year that
I wonder if
people
I
were born.
said 1993.
No.
Surely I did not.
Now I have to go back and listen. It would be really funny if you did. And everyone's like, wait, what?
Wait, what?
What timeline are we in?
Jay Sebring was born Thomas John Coomer in 1933 in Birmingham, Alabama, but grew up in Michigan. After graduating high school, he served in the U.S. Navy for 4 years and then moved to Los Angeles to attend beauty school, become a hairstylist, and changed his name. Jay Sebring became a renowned hairstylist, changing the way men's hair was cut and styled in Hollywood. While most barbers were charging a few dollars for men's haircuts, Jay was able to charge $50 or more for the techniques that he knew and had clients like Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. who paid him to travel to them.
Wild concept. Also, like, super fucking cool. Like, humble flex. I
Right.
just style people's hair. I don't cut it. Just style.
He had dated Sharon Tate for a bit, but in the end, they decided to just be friends. Sharon Tate was born January of 1943 in Texas. As a child, she and her family moved around a lot, and she attended school in multiple cities in Texas, Washington, and even Italy. Her first acting roles were in Italy after going to a film set and catching the eye of actor and filmmaker George Bamer, who encouraged her to get into acting herself. When she finally moved to Los Angeles in 1962, she called Richard's agent, and he helped her land a few gigs. This led her to meeting Jay Sebring. The two had a great relationship, but an even stronger friendship. At one point, Jay did propose to Sharon, but she declined the marriage proposal, saying that she intends to retire from acting when she marries, and she's not ready to do that yet. Even after their relationship ended, though, the two remained close. Close. It does not have a D at the end. So on August 8th, 1969, So on August 8th, 1969, after dinner, the group went back to Sharon and Roman's to keep the night going. They arrived around 10 p.m. As it got later, Abigail had gone up to the guest room. Sharon and Jay fell asleep talking, and Wojciech slept right there on the couch in the living room. Tex Watson, Patricia Krenwinkel, Linda Kasabian, is that right? Kasabian. I was like, where does the emphasis go? Linda Kasabian and Susan Atkins drove to the house on CeeLo Drive. Linda Kasabian is a new name into our story. She grew up in New England and overall was a good kid and a good student. She had a tough upbringing, though. Her family fell into hard times financially, and her father left the family as a result when she was still young. Linda ran away when she was 16 due to problems with her new stepfather. She got married to a friend named Robert Peasley, but then divorced him a short time later. She moved to Miami afterward in an attempt to reconnect with her dad, who was supposedly bartending there but didn't want to see her. Linda then moved to Boston, where she would begin a new life. She got married again, gave birth to a daughter in 1969, and became pregnant again. Linda wasn't happy in her relationship anymore, and when a friend of hers mentioned a ranch of hippies establishing a paradise, she was intrigued. So she and her daughter left to go meet and live with Charles Manson.
If she had seen photos, she would have known it was no paradise. Just saying. They shit in buckets. Just saying.
Her later testimonies would play a large role in the trial. Tex Watson is another key player in the Manson family that we haven't talked about yet. Born Charles Tex Watson, he was a straight A student growing up. When he went off to college, he experimented a little with drugs, and this is when he got into trouble, according to his family. In 1966, he dropped out of school and started dealing drugs in California. Shortly after this, he joined the Manson family. He enjoyed working for Charles and became one of his main guys. When the group pulled up to the house, Stephen, sorry, that needs a bigger pause, became one of his main guys. This is probably about the time where we should take a break, you think?
Yeah.
Because we're about to get crazy.
I know. In a terrible fucking way. Ugh. I hate this story. I hate it.
Yeah.
I literally had I wrote skeleton notes of like the timeline of events, and then I left Sharon Tate's murder like blank for a really long time. Like I wrote everything else around it, and then I went back. And I was like, "This is the last thing I have to write."
Yeah. It's not fun.
And I give like the PG description. Like they
You
were
give-
horrifically
listen.
tortured.
You gave a PG description, and I still cut some of it out because I was like, I can't say that.
I know.
Can't say it. Like it hurts me to say. I can't.
It does. It makes me feel sick when I think about what they went through that night.
Yeah.
I read in my research, I read an article written, I don't know if you read it too when you did your research, but by his J.C. Briggs' nephew. And he's like, my uncle didn't just stand idly by. Like, he fucking fought while they were tortured. Like, it's horrible. Like, animalistic doesn't even describe their behavior.
No.
Oh,
no. If ever anybody needed a reason to be like drugs are bad, this is drugs. This is the example. However, not all people on drugs do this.
Strangers.
So
yeah, important differentiation.
Yes, there is an important differentiation.
Don't do drugs, Rainbow.
Or do drugs safely.
In a safe environment and with people that you feel comfortable with.
Don't leave the house. Okay, are we ready?
Don't break the law. Just start making a children's channel. Don't do this. Yeah, I'm sorry that you have to cover this part.
I know, it's awful.
Okay, we knew it. We knew it when we said we were splitting it into 2 parts. You knew.
When the group pulled up to the house, Stephen Parent was just leaving after having visited with the grounds caretaker, William Garretson. Stephen was 18 and had just graduated from Arroyo High School. He spent most of his time working and was saving for college. He was there that night because he was trying to sell a clock radio to William. Just trying to save some money.
Right? That's like the most 80s teenager thing you've ever said.
Yeah, a clock radio.
Yeah, just trying to make some extra money. Ugh.
After the two had a beer together, Stephen went to leave but was stopped by Tex Watson, who shot him several times, killing him. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time. They all were. The Manson family group then broke into the CeeLo Drive home. Wojciech was woken up with Tex holding a gun to him. He was still a little intoxicated and asked Tex who he was and what he was doing. Tex replied, quote, "I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business," end quote. Then he, Susan, and Patricia brutally murdered Wojciech. First of all, I don't think the devil would appreciate you using his name to do such heinous things. Wojciech was stabbed 51 times, bludgeoned, and shot twice. He tried hard to fight back, attempting to take control of the knife from Susan, who stabbed him, but he was shot and killed by Tex. He would be found the next day on the front porch by investigators. Abigail had run out of the house trying to escape, but she was tackled on the front lawn by Patricia Krenwinkel and stabbed 28 times. Jay and Sharon were brutally beaten and tortured. Jay pleaded for Sharon and begged the attackers to spare Sharon and her baby. In response, Tex shot him and kicked him several times, breaking his nose and eye socket. He then stabbed him another 7 times.
Like, what? Ugh!
When Jay was gone, Sharon pled for the life. Nope. When Jay was gone, Sharon pleaded for the life of her unborn child, offering to be taken hostage for enough time to give birth. But she too would be tragically murdered. She was stabbed 16 times, and the group used her blood to spell out the word pig on the front door of the house. Sharon didn't know the sex of her baby when she died, but she was so excited to be a mom. When she was later buried, her baby, a little boy, was placed in her arms.
Oh, that's a heartbreaking visual.
I know.
I forgot I wrote that. I'm sorry. But it's like a beautiful visual, but like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Apparently, once the group reported back, Charles was displeased with the sloppiness of the murders. So the
I'm
very
displeased by
next
all of it.
night, right? So the very next night, he decided to accompany them in trying again. Because that makes sense. He, along with Tex Watson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, she doesn't deserve me to say her name right.
Yeah, right. Don't
Linda
correct yourself.
Kasabian, Leslie Van Houten, and Steve Clem Grogan ended up outside the house of supermarket executive and dad Leno LaBianca, where he lived with his wife Rosemary. Leslie Van Houten, by the way, was from LA and grew up in a loving household with great parents. However, her parents divorced when she was a teenager, and she took it particularly hard. Then she got pregnant by her boyfriend and had an abortion, but the couple didn't take that well and started doing acid together as a way to cope. She crossed paths with Bobby Beauchal, and the Manson family in 1968. She and he started dating soon after, but she still felt empty. Back to the group. When the group entered the LaBianca residence, the children thankfully were not home. Only Leno and his wife, Rosemary. Leno LaBianca was a loving husband and father. His children were only ever with him for summer vacations and holidays, but he took being a dad seriously. He was very loving and friendly to all. His wife, Rosemary, was described as a sweet soul and a loving stepmother as well. Leno was woken up at gunpoint while the group reassured him they weren't going to hurt anyone. They tied him up and brought Rosemary into the bedroom, also bound. Charles then left the house and sent in his gang to carry out the murders.
Which, like, what
Leno,
did you do? Just you were a part of picking out the house and being like, "Go, my minions, go!" Like, ugh.
I don't think we'll
Just like
ever
that
know for sure what all he did,
sadistic.
but yeah.
If anyone
Yeah,
is
he's
ever bored, side note, when you're caught up on Twisted and Uncorked podcast, take a little gander over at charlesmanson.com. That website is the most in-depth. It has photos. It has, I don't know who created this website, and descriptions of every single member of the Manson family. Like, it is a crazy website. So if anyone's ever bored, feel free to check it out. It is, some of the pages are sourced in our episode notes, but I'm just saying it's an
Is it
insane
run
place to
by
be.
the Manson family
I
though?
don't know. It is an insane place to be.
It's kind of
It's
creepy.
charlesmanson.com. There's like there's descriptions on every victim, every member, the trial in excruciating detail. There's everything there. So if anyone is
Goodness
ever
gracious.
bored, have at her.
It's crazy.
Sorry, just for more information if we
Yeah.
weren't detailed enough.
Leno LaBianca was brutally stabbed with both a carving knife and a fork. Later, the fork would be found sticking out of his abdomen and the carving knife embedded in his throat. Rosemary LaBianca was taken into the bedroom and killed later. She was stabbed over 40 times by Patricia Krenwinkel and Leslie Van Houten. After the murders, the killers used the victim's blood to write on the walls and the refrigerator. Rise, death to pigs, and Helter Skelter, which is misspelled. He thought the first one was sloppy. These fucking idiots don't even know how to spell.
Yeah, they're Helter Skeltering.
A few days after the murders, Manson's ranch was raided on suspicion of car theft. Nothing was found and everyone was let go, but the police were not quite satisfied. The Manson family left their ranch to a new ranch, and in October, the new one was raided. It was around the same time in October that Bobby, who was arrested in the Gary Hinman murder, gave police Susan Atkins' name. She was then processed for Gary's murder. While in prison, she told her cellmate that she killed Sharon Tate, quote, because we wanted to do a crime that would shock the world, that the world would have to stand up and take notice, end quote. At this point, the murders had been all over the media. On November 12, 1969, during an interview with a man named Al Springer, a motorcycle gang member who knew Charles in passing said that he had mentioned killing people just days after the murders, but didn't say who or elaborate. If you remember the way Charles Manson speaks from the clip we played last week, you know that the conversation topic likely changed fast. His ramblings are tough to follow. But after this, the pieces started to fall into place about the back-to-back horrific murders and who was probably responsible. Remaining gang members tried to flee the state, but were caught. Tex Watson was apprehended in Texas, kind of funny, at the end of November. Tex in Texas. The Manson family would be held in prison until their trial in June of 1970, which is when Charles appeared in court with the infamous X carved into his forehead. And over the next few days, his followers began to do the same thing to themselves. Charles, along with Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Leslie Van Houten, were charged with multiple counts of murder in the first degree. Linda Kasabian had been acting as a lookout on the evening of August 8th and asked to be a witness for immunity, testifying against the rest of the members and giving an account of what happened that evening. During a cross-examination, a large photo of the Tate House crime scene was shown. Linda, quote, shot a look across the courtroom at the defendants and asked, "How could you do that?" The female defendants laughed and asked how she could be so certain, considering her LSD use, that she had not participated in the murders. Linda replied, quote, because I don't have that kind of thing in me to do something so animalistic, end quote. Linda was the only one that showed any resemblance of remorse among the group. The trial lasted 18 days, and all members were found guilty on all counts and sentenced to death for the murders. However, in 1972, California abolished the death penalty, and their sentences were commuted to life imprisonment instead. Charles Manson spent the remainder of his life in prison. He died on November 19th, 2017, from natural causes at the age of 83. And recently, I don't remember if it was Susan or Patricia, attempted to get out. Actually, it might have been Leslie. I don't know. One of the girls were up for parole and attempted to request that parole, and everyone was like, fucking no. No, thank you.
It was Patricia Krenwinkel.
Yeah.
And it was May of 2025.
Oh god, that was so recent.
Yeah. She's 77 years old.
They said no,
And
right?
yeah, they said no.
Yeah, they said no. No,
They're like,
sorry.
based on her age, she's at little risk of reoffending. she looks like a scary
But
old
still
lady.
no. But still no.
But
You can't
still
get out.
no. You don't get
Yeah.
to you don't get to
No.
kill a group of young people and an unborn baby and just keep living.
And have no remorse.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
don't get to do that. So Leslie Van Houten was released from prison in 2023 after spending 53 years behind bars, though. Not long
What's
enough.
she doing now?
I don't even want to
Probably
know.
changing her name.
Probably. But
I
doesn't
would.
him dying of natural causes just feel so anticlimactic for the
It
person
does.
that he was?
Yeah.
The theatrics, the shouting, the it's just such a bizarre story. I don't understand how
It is bizarre.
he
And
can convince people to do this. Like,
well, I don't
who
ever
does
want
this?
to even think about giving him any excuse or anything. But there is always something in the back of my mind that's like, were they experimented on? Was the LSD they were given some sort of experiment? Like, was that his own mind, or was that the ramblings of a madman who was made mad? Like,
Yeah,
I don't
because they
I
were
don't
trying
fucking
to
know.
build super soldiers with
Uh-huh.
the MK Ultra projects. So, I mean, yeah, he like I said, he was unknowingly providing the government with more people to experiment on with his members. So,
He was
I
unhinged.
don't doubt it that
For
whatever
whatever
they were
reason,
given
he was
or
unhinged.
provided. Yeah, just yeah, no, it doesn't excuse their behavior at all, but it's just so sadistic and so feral that I just
Yeah.
can't wrap my brain around it.
Yeah, it's gross.
Like who they didn't do anything to any of them. None of them did.
Yeah,
So it's
there
just
was
like
literally no
there was
reason to
delusional
kill these
thinking.
people.
There
The
was a
first
random hit and then
Gary Hinman, while no one deserves to be killed ever, and especially not Gary Hinman, and especially not for these reasons, at least they targeted this person for their own stupid reason. All of the other people, they didn't even know, they
totally
didn't even
random. Yeah.
mean to target. Like, it wasn't even a target, it was random. It was so fucked. So fucked. Just awful. Awful.
Um and the creator of Full House purchased the land that the Tate murders happened on and rebuilt a mansion worth a casual $23 million. And no
Damn.
one wants to buy it.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Just because you tear down the house doesn't mean that that isn't still there.
Also, two of the people were found outside of the house anyway. They were on the ground. The
Yeah.
land is not even safe.
It's a beautiful house. Don't get me wrong. But it's just yeah, I don't blame people for not wanting to buy it. One, because it's 3 times the size of the original house there and 16 times the price. And two, people died there in a horrific way.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, the La Bianca house is still in the family. Oh,
Mm,
but just ugh, horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible.
yeah.
But yeah, still undecided on whether Charles Manson is purely a cult or a serial killer or both. I think after 4 years, it would be really more of spree killing because it happened within 2 days, right? So,
Yeah.
cult. Cult is my final ruling with my hammer,
Well, the
my mallet.
Gary Hinman wasn't the same
No,
time, so that would make them serial killers. That would make at least
true,
Susan. Susan is a fucking serial killer. I don't know about
true,
all the others, but Susan was in fucking all of them.
true.
Is she still
Fuck
in prison?
Susan. Yeah,
She better still fucking be
hold
in
on.
prison, that bitch.
Susan. Bitch. She
Of all the
looks
people,
she looks
she
unhinged. Oh, she
she
died in 2009. That bitch better
Listen.
still be in prison. She
The
died.
2020s were bad
She
enough. We
died
did
in
not need
between
her.
Sierra. She died in between our birthdays on September 24th. There you go.
Good.
That was the birthday gift to us in 2009 that we didn't even know we were getting.
Yeah, I needed it though.
I hope she's sorrow it, despair, all of the despair. That's all I gotta say.
Dishonor on her, dishonor on her cow.
100% dishonor on her cow. Fuck. Yeah. Bragging about killing Sharon Tate, bitch. Anyways, on happier notes, we're gonna talk about Sierra's episodes to roll on out of here.
Yay!
And I think I picked my first favorite
What is
before,
it?
so you need to
Oh, I have
do
to go
yours.
first? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so here's
I
the thing. I
definitely
forgot.
already let one leak. Episode 155, the
It was a good
26
one.
Club on Jean Harlow and Sharon Tate.
Yeah.
Greatest episode.
I forgot to pool all of mine and put them in a pile and decide on the top 5. So what I decided just now is I'm going to look at about 20. I'm going to break it up into 20s. I'll pick one from episode 101 to 120, one from episode 121 to 140. You know what I mean? So I went down and episode 101 is already one of my favorites. So this didn't work. Episode 101, Beer and Boobies. This was my circus crimes episode. That was a really fun episode. Like, that was crazy exciting.
I loved that special
So much was
topic
happening.
in general. We
Yeah.
had the Poodle King and we had
Yeah.
your episode. So yeah,
That
it was a
was
good,
so
it was a
fun.
good smattering, if you will.
Yeah. Now I have to skip all the way up to 120, and I don't know if I can do that. What's your first episode of mine that you like?
Episode 108. Who you gonna call Ghostbusters? Your story on the Ghostbusters trial.
Oh, yeah.
Our beautiful haunted house that we dreamed to own one day because it seems
The
worth
house,
it to me.
seriously.
Still,
Yeah.
still seems worth it.
Yeah.
But Sierra covered a trial that happened because of ghosts in the house. So it is known historically as the Ackley House, and I loved this episode. I
It was
loved that
good.
it was a ruling of being haunted. And I still would buy that house if opportunity presented itself. I would
Yeah.
deal with the ghosts.
Yeah, if I had the
That
money.
lake view with that bathtub.
The ghosts weren't even
Goodbye.
that bad, right?
I know.
Like, one of
I
them
could
just
deal with
stood
it.
while she painted.
Yeah, I could deal with
Big
it.
deal.
Just don't watch me while I'm in the tub and everything is fine.
Let's see. What is my next one gonna be? I think that's a good one, but I'm trying to make it. I am trying really hard to make it to episode 120 so I can pick one in between those. Oh, I didn't like that one. I mean, I did, but I hated it at the same time. That's not going to be a favorite. Oh, the hums. No, that one. No. Can't do it. Oh.
I'm laughing because you're experiencing everything that I did when I was scrolling through too. I'm just like, oh no, that traumatized me.
Okay, I think. Oh, this is hard. The episodes between 121 and 140, there's a lot of really good ones in there, but I decided on episode 130. Nope, sorry, where'd it go? 135. It was all for the wedding. When Yield Crime came on, Lindsay, and we talked about Nellie and Sarah and the ghosts and the
fucking ghost human wedding. That was
literally
on my top.
literally
That was on
fucking
my top 5
ghosts,
too.
ghost
Yep.
fucking literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a good
Unbelievable.
one. That was a good one.
You didn't consummate your marriage. Don't lie to me. Yeah, that was a really good episode and the perfect episode for Lindsay to come on.
Yes, it was.
I had that on my list as well, but I also had another guest episode. It was obviously a Yeti when you covered Marilyn and Sam Shepard and whether or
Oh,
not the
yeah.
attack was a white hairy biped figure
Right.
with Kadra from Perplexity. That was a lot
Yeah,
of fun as well.
that was a lot of fun. That episode still gets me because 'cause I'm
I
like, "What the
still
fuck
don't know what
happened?"
happened.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
no idea.
I
It's
have
like
no
one of
idea.
them that I can't even decide on a theory. Like,
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I don't know.
Unknown furry intruder. That's what we
Yeah,
know.
it was
But it was a good
something
one.
for sure. Um, okay, next is probably
I get it, guys. It's hard
hmm,
to pick your own favorite episodes. It's easy to pick each other's. Hard to pick your own.
uh, it was definitely Aliens, episode 149, Granger Taylor from Around You up there, in
Nanaimo, the
BC. Yeah,
invention of Nana Emu on the
Nana
show.
Emu.
Good old Nana Emu. Yep.
Yeah,
Nanaimo. Love
that
it.
guy for sure is with
Predicted
aliens
his own
somewhere.
abduction.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
100%.
not sure where, but he's with them.
100%. That was also on my top 5 because it's a great episode.
Yeah,
But I'm also gonna add into the mix as well. See, some of Sierra's episodes were really good, but they traumatized me, like her frogging episode.
yeah, I was just looking
Could
at
have
that. It's
gone my
like, no, I
entire
can't.
life without knowing what frogging was.
Yeah.
Would have died a little happier, in fact. Um, and then, of course, the 26 Club. But I also really enjoyed her episode on episode 153, If the Glove Doesn't Fit, when she did Nicole Brown Simpson.
Yeah.
I sorry, what's his name? I forget.
OJ.
Ron Goldman.
Oh, it's like,
The murders of.
yes, the murders of.
No, I know. Yes. That was a really good episode. I feel like you did a great homage to a classic true crime story, and it sucks to refer to it that way because people still died in a
Yeah.
horrific way. But you provided such like a blanket, like you gave every little detail. So it's like I feel fulfilled in listening to it, even if I don't necessarily know who did it, even though I have my theories on who did it. But
Yeah.
it was just like a new way of, I don't know.
Here's the
Lots of people
facts.
that listened to it, they
Decide for
said that
yourself.
so many people didn't actually know some of that stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't know. You did a really good job.
Thanks. Yeah, I feel like I always get hate for saying that I don't think OJ did it. And I'm not at all like an OJ apologist. He was a really fucking shitty person. I'm just saying there's possibly another killer on the loose, guys. You know what I mean? Like, that's all. That's all I'm trying to
Agreed. You
say.
just gotta look at all the info.
Yeah. Another episode we did with guests, that was my episode, was when Taylor and Morgan from Creeps and Crimes came on. Episode 160, Dr. Seuss Aliens. That one was super fun. I still am obsessed with that case. I tell people to watch that documentary all the time. It's just crazy.
It was the craziest episode ever. It's
Yeah.
Ghosts Meets Aliens, and we had
Yeah.
not one but two really creepy things happen
Yes.
during recording. So
It was
they
so
were really
fun.
good sports about us haunting them. But yeah, it was a good episode. I really
It
enjoyed
was
that
a
one.
good episode.
It was in my top 5 as well, but because you are covering some of my favorites as well, I'm gonna cheat a little bit and say that another favorite was episode 167, Smile Through the
I was
Radio.
just looking at that one.
Yeah, and also we got a really nice message from Stefan's son on our YouTube
Yeah,
channel, and that
Christian
was really, really meaningful and very sweet,
made me
that he took
cry.
the time to, like, say that Sierra did a great job, which she did, but it's like his story doesn't get enough coverage, and I still really need it to be solved. So
Yeah,
that was an absolute favorite of mine. You just love the man without even knowing him. Like he just
yeah.
a fucking delight.
I don't know what was going on at that point in my life. Oh, never mind. Yes, I do. I did that episode. That episode came out in September, on September 10th. The next one after that was obviously a week later, September 24th, the Project Hamburglar. The one after that was The Hills Have Eyes with the Appalachian Mountains. Um, the one after that was a bunch of like, I feel like I was on my game that season. Like, fall, I was on it, okay? Fall was great.
It's birthday month. I'm fucking here.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I
No, you
was
did a really good
doing the
job.
thing.
The Hills Have Eyes also traumatized
Yeah, that was
me, much
traumatizing for
like your
sure.
frogging episode.
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to find my last favorite is definitely but see, then I have the Bleeding House. No, that's not it. Hang on. Let me think. There it is, episode 182. What are they hiding? If you all need to go back and listen to when I covered Karen Reed before the retrial, just know I already knew, okay? I already knew.
We already screamed into the microphone for an hour. But your Bleeding House episode was one of my favorites as well. Again, another one that I'm gonna say that again because you were crashing.
Sorry.
That is another one that still I have no fucking clue what happened.
Yeah.
Love that episode.
Yeah.
Again, guys, what makes a house bleed?
No
Like
idea.
poor Minnie, she was just trying to care for her husband,
Yeah.
not and have a bubble bath that night, okay?
The last 100 episodes have been on point. Seriously, both of us, all of them are serial killers even. Like, I don't know how we're going to be able to continue this good. Like, we
And
need
we've had
more
some
shit.
amazing guests in the last 100
Yes.
episodes. We've had Creeps and Crimes, we've had Amanda and Robbie, we've had
Zandy.
Zandy, we've had and that's why we fucking drink, like,
Yeah,
that's not the name of their podcast, but I'm excited
close
about it, you
enough.
know? So, just, like, a lot of really great guests, a lot of really, like, good podcast friends being on the show, like Kevin coming on and Kadra, Lindsay, uh, yeah, just, like, a lot of really fun episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
It
got a
has
good
been
crew.
great.
We got a good crew, we got a good bunch of episodes, and we have more exciting episodes coming your way
We have
somehow,
so
some way.
many exciting things happening. You will see in the next episode a new logo on your
Yes!
screen.
I'm
We've
so
changed it up a
excited.
little bit.
Yeah, it's still got our turquoise and our purple, but with dark and spooky Scooby-Doo vibes. So when people
Yeah.
are confused and like, I can't find your podcast,
Yeah.
that's why. Because we've had our tie-dye one for 3 years. So like it seems sad to walk away from, but I'm also excited for like a lot of podcasts do a new logo every season. So,
Right.
this is our new season of spooky, weird history and who knows, maybe we'll do more joint episodes and we have a new like round table kind of talk show segment that we're going to be adding to the main feed as well.
Mhm.
Name to be determined still.
Yes, there's a
We
couple
still we
options
still
on our
gotta we still
Patreon.
gotta hash out our choices, but
Yeah.
we will announce that in the future and we have some very exciting people lined up for it. So lots of exciting things and also bear with us while Sierra just figures out her new space and shit.
Yeah.
And we're back to a regular schedule. So we're very excited about that.
Yay.
Yay! I say that as her children are literally yelling in the background.
I
So
know,
that
I'm
is our
sorry.
cue to sign off of episode 200. But I hope that you guys enjoyed. I don't know what just happened to my voice there. I hope that you guys enjoyed our coverage of the Manson family and the Tate LaBianca murders. I know you guys have been requesting it for a really long time, but it is one of those episodes that's really daunting to dive into and also really heartbreaking for us. Like it's a monstrous story. So we hope you enjoyed it.
It
And let
really
us
is
know
awful.
if you think it's serial killer, cult, both. Let us know your thoughts. Settle the ruling, if you will, and we will see you next week For my episode, topic to be determined. And in the meantime,
keep it
twisted.
Twisted and Uncorked is hosted and produced by Sierra Zorn and Alicia Watson. If you like the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can check out all things Twisted on our website, twistedanduncorked.com, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode.